getting it, Billy. Look here.
Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Troy Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio in this episode. Everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from way inside my power band and Jarhigo's power band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Wolverine, along with my super awesome friends, Jarhigo and C-Lab Forever.
Yeah, yo, I don't know if I can match the intensity.
Don't have to. I'm wide awake and wired on coffee. Let's go. Welcome to the show, folks. This week we're talking about the 1989 movie Black Rain, starring Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia as Andy Garcia. This was also directed by Ridley Scott, which I cannot believe. And here we go.
You don't have to elaborate on that there, Chief.
I have a pan full of gripe.
I never got any stink on a movie like in the opening salvo.
Yeah, man, I'm so surprised.
I got a pan full of gripes and a heart full of hatred. Let's go.
That sucks, man. I really dug this one. Man, this one was recommended to us by Boulevard Chimichangas. He requested that we check it out. And I'd never seen this. I had never seen this ever, and I really
I hadn't either.
I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool 80s hard-boiled schlock fest that had, like, I really enjoyed seeing the 80s Japan stuff, and I had a good time.
Right on. Ben.
Dude, you're gonna totally Justice League out on this fucking thing, Kev. I can't wait.
I'm not quite.
I think maybe I must have seen this way back, but I didn't remember anything about it. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, 80s chestnut, bringing it back. Mike Douglas, sort of a schlubby New York lethal weapon Riggs.
Totally.
Andy Garcia, I think I understood why he almost got cast in Strange Days. I was getting a little bit of a Lenny vibe there.
Oh, good call.
Okay. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
that combined with Bill Paxton from Predator 2, maybe. Yep.
A little bit.
a little bit.
With the suit and the clean cut kind of suave thing he had going
on. Ten Kakakura, awesome.
No doubt.
I don't know, there's just some good talent in it. It's very 80s with the like Japanese crossover thing and fish out of water, cop movie, thriller. I don't know. It hit the spot for me.
Nice.
On this particular watch.
Good. I'm glad that you two enjoyed it because I did not.
Dude, tell me more.
Oh my God, this movie just sucked. I just didn't like it. I might have seen this when I was younger, like Benny, but I don't remember any of it. And I'm pretty sure I didn't even see it, but this plot sucked. And that's where the whole thing went south. Like the story was just so implausibly dumb. And I think we've done movies like that, obviously before, but like it was kind of more intentional, or the budget was shittier, or the movie was shittier, or nobody was really expecting a lot to begin with. But this movie is a Ridley Scott movie with Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia. And like, the story was just so dumb and paper thin that it just ruined the rest of the movie for me. Cause I was just like, why am I watching this? Why are we doing this? Why are we in Japan? Why am I watching this? Cause it just doesn't make any sense. And the dialogue was, it was fine, sort of, and there was just some highlights of just terrible dialogue, sadly, mostly from Michael Douglas, who I absolutely love. And I need to really go watch Wall Street after this to get this taste of this movie out of my mouth and in my brain, rather. But yeah, it was just, stinker. I was wondering if this movie was actually generating new content at the end, because it just didn't want to stop existing and playing. And I had to finish it after I got off of work tonight. And I was just like, come on already. Like, I know what's going to happen. Like, let's go already.
Do you feel better now?
Oh, God.
Dude, the level of salt on your dish is fucking crazy, dude.
Piled high.
You like fucking Scarface fucking pile of salt in front of you. I love it.
Yeah, not unlike that other movie that I lost it about. I mean, but like whatever Ridley Scott's planning next, I can tell you that I will not be watching that movie because I will be at my home once again writing in my memoirs of hatred about how much I hate Black Rain.
Okay.
There.
You didn't actually say why other than the dialogue. Like what was so paper thin about the plot?
Well,
it was bad.
Yeah, the story and the plot and the dialogue, and I'm going to elaborate as we go.
Okay.
I got 2 words for you, Kev.
What?
Kate Capshaw.
Yeah, Indy. I love Kate Capshaw. She was so good.
She was great and like mysterious and all that, but I don't know. That character kind of didn't really go anywhere either.
Nah.
No, it didn't, but I was just psyched to see her.
Yes.
I haven't seen a movie that had Kate Capshaw. Wow, it's like a tongue twister there. Kate Capshaw.
It is.
I haven't seen one of her movies in a while, and I forgot that she was in this. So I was delighted.
I was definitely psyched to see her, man.
She was a delight.
She was one of the high points of this film.
Kate Capshaw, you are delight.
You are a delight.
Nice. Nice. Yes, totally. I think I was more excited to see Stephen Root and Richard Reel playing the internal affairs cops.
Dude, that was crazy.
Yeah, in that opening scene. I was also more psyched to see Luis Guzman as one of the biker dudes.
Yep.
Yeah, Guzman.
Dude,
definitely was psyched there.
Right?
Jacopo and Gordon Gekko hustling dudes under the bridge. I was fucking all about that.
Boom, dude. Nice Jacopo reference.
Man.
Tight. Nobody is getting that except you and me. I love it.
Monte Cristo for everybody out there.
Can of Monte Cristo. That's right. So how do you want to structure this? Do you want me to explain
I want you to take
why I really don't like this movie, and then we'll go from
50
there?
shits on. Like, I am so surprised. Like, this was so 80s and just like it was all the old tropes. It was the same shit, but like every fucking movie in the 80s just copied the same shit from each other. I don't really understand how this is any different than the ones that we love.
Yeah, I know. And you might, you have a good point. And look, it might have just caught me on the wrong night. I was super tired when I watched it last night, and maybe that was it, who knows? Maybe Mars was in retrograde or whatever the fuck, man. But I just, I wasn't feeling it. Like I know we've watched other movies like this. It's like all the pieces were rearranged slightly differently, and it rubbed me the wrong way. And I think it was really like there's implausible stupidity and stupidly implausible. But like this was like, okay, there's a hit and we don't know really why. And then the captain's like, okay, you take this guy back to Japan. Like that's where the whole thing started going south for me. Cause I was like, what? I was like, why on earth would these two schlubby New York, one schlubby, one sort of suave New York cop be assigned by a random precinct captain to escort this guy back to Japan? Like they wouldn't have this is, I suppose, classic gripes of Kev. Like they wouldn't have the authority to do that. Like this would be like State Department level, FBI, CIA type of diplomatic shit, man. And I was just like, this is just ridiculous. It was so dumb. That one thing right there is what set off the rest of my hatred dream for this movie.
Your fever dream of hatred?
Yeah, my fever dream of hatred. Like, because like that in and of itself was so implausible. And then they land and it's like, oh, that wasn't the cops. That was the Yakuza. And now we're going to arrest you and take you in. And, then it was just like, and now it's time for wacky hijinks. And then, you know, it was just like blah, blah, blah. Fucking his partner gets killed in the worst way. And he's just like holding on to the fence and he won't fucking try to find any other way in there. I was like, come on, dude. And then there was a ton of, you know, growling Japanese guys growling in Japanese, you know, like every guy in the movie was Sato from the Miyagi movie, you know, it was like, I was just like, fuck this movie, dude. I just like, no. And, you know, we're taking your guns away. And then there's sad, eternal, sad puppy dog Moss, dude, you know, coming in like the lovable loser, dude. And like the guy looks awesome. And I read later that he's like played a gangster in all these Japanese movies and he's like a super popular actor. And I was stoked about that. But like, you know, he comes in and he's just always looking sad. And no, I got to do everything right for the group. And no, I wouldn't want to go out and do anything on my own. And woe is me. And wow. And the karaoke scene was so fucking terrible, man. Just in every way, on every level, I just wanted to die and never hear whatever that song was again. So, like, you know, then it was like the end of the movie's like predictable city. It's like, here comes Moss. He finally grew a set of gourds, and Michael Douglas found a gun and made friends with the freaking gangster who, like, you know, do you know who I am? You know, I was like, oh, come on, dude. And then, like, you know, he kisses Kate Capshaw. That's it.
Jesus, man, I wasn't expecting a complete fucking synopsis.
Well, that's Kev, everybody. Benny, what did you think?
Just trying to give you your money's worth.
Hold on a minute, because see, the implausibility of like anything being believable in the film was gone the minute a fucking Harley Davidson took a fucking Gixxer in a race. Like that just makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, this movie is in Fantasyland. Okay.
Well, that should set it up early for you to go along for the ride. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just along for the ride. I just so much salt. I love it.
I don't know why. I just couldn't go for the ride. I don't know why.
It's funny. A lot of what you described in your hatred was a lot of what I actually liked.
Yeah, same. I was like, I like that. I like that too. Yeah, pretty much every point you made, I was like, that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Well, look, I mean,
Kev
the
just
movie,
got up on the fucking breakfast table and just started fucking pissing back and forth between our Cheerio bowls, man. Holy shit.
Yep.
That I did. There was a couple things that the only two good notes I had were the music's okay sometimes, and the best scene in the movie is when Moss machine guns the shit out of that car that's already on fire, and then the car super predictably blows, and then those dudes like fall in slow motion. That was the best.
And your third note about the good stuff is the movie is over.
No, you guys are gonna, yeah. I want you guys to convince me otherwise, as always, like we do here. And I will say that the whole opening sequence with the motorcycle race and like the cinematography was great there. I loved all of those shots, and I was totally digging that bike that he had with that fairing, and just that whole bit was pretty cool.
Yeah, like you said, the cinematography was pretty. I think there's a lot of gorgeous scenery in this. That one of the things you said 45 minutes ago was like that I can't remember what he said because it was so long ago, but it was something along the lines of the implausibility of having to go to Japan. And I think if this movie wasn't set in Japan, I wouldn't have enjoyed it half as much, or I would have enjoyed it half as much. I think the setting, the scenery, the cinematography, seeing like the time capsule of Japan in the 80s as opposed to nowadays, totally had kind of like a little bit of an Akira vibe because that was made at around the same time. So the look was a little similar in a lot of ways. You know, like there was like a 3-second shot of one of those weird lit up kind of elevated highways. And I just really kind of scratched that itch of Japanophile city, urban, interesting stuff. So similar to your comment about the Harley Davidson shot in the beginning, the cinematography I think really brings a lot to the table here.
I have a thought on that. It's like someone took a Steven Segal movie, had somebody shoot it beautifully, got in a good director, got some good actors in to play the parts, but didn't really change much about the plot.
I like that. That works.
Yes.
It totally felt like that. I had a similar vibe where it totally felt like a Bruce Willis-y kind of movie, just like an action piece, hard-boiled detective-y movie. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I feel like taking it from a more serious stance for a second, like you're right. If this had not taken place mostly in Japan, part in Japan, however you want to say it, I think it would have just been nothing.
Yeah, it would have been too vanilla.
Exactly. It would have been probably wouldn't have been made. I mean, and the rain and the Japan and, that was very, quasi Blade Runner-esque, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about Ridley Scott, so I immediately made that leap. A lot of those elements were great. The way that we got there was just like, like when you're a kid and you're just kind of like, and then, and now we're on a spaceship. Like, that's how it felt to me. I was just like, what? No. So I totally dig what you're saying, like all the Akira things and like that sort of imagery, like, it was, good, solid taste, visual taste of Japan as well.
Yeah. You were talking about the way they made the movie, but what about the way you do the things you do? Because when UB40 came on in that club, I was fucking so happy. I liked this movie, and then when UB40 came on, I fucking loved this movie. I was so excited to hear Schlocky UB40. It was like, it couldn't have been a better choice.
UB40 was your Kate Capshaw?
Totally, yeah. UB40 is my Kate Capshaw, no doubt.
There you go.
So stoked about that.
Well then.
UB40 is like the poppiest, most terrible music ever, and I'm kind of on board.
You said that.
I did. There's not much you can say about that, I guess.
No.
It fits so well, man. A Japanese karaoke bar dropping UB40 with a crane shot. Like, come on. That was good.
I didn't know they ever did karaoke with a live band.
I never heard of that either.
Kind of on board with that, too.
But it was interesting, that's for sure.
Did you? I kind of hope
classy joint.
I kind of hope that you didn't read anything about this movie, Kev, because you just didn't fucking care. But in case you didn't read anything about it, Andy Garcia evidently pushed for that karaoke scene because he thought it would like endear the audience to him before he gets beheaded, and I think that was kind of a cool addition by him.
He was endearing anyway, even though like another thing that drove me nuts was like his like terrible. He was always like translating, but like. And it was so dumb and bad. Like, that's what I mean by the bad dialogue. It was just like, he's always like trying to translate the idioms, but he doesn't really do a good job of translating them. He just kind of like uses another colloquial metaphor. And it's like,
but they were just fucking with them. That's what I liked about it. I
guess. Yeah.
Garcia and Gordon Gekko weren't there to like, make a connection with anybody. They were just there to be like buddy cops that were like, look at these fucking silly Japanese and just like poking at them and making fun of them and doing their own thing, It's the most 80s American thing ever.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of like the like American tourists around the world. Americans are considered to be like the worst tourists because they're just like, I'm fucking American. Yes. This is what we do in America. Speak English. I'm fucking American. And like they kind of had that vibe, and I don't know. It just fit with that 80s vibe for me.
Definitely. Like, where's the McDonald's?
Yeah.
I want to go to the French McDonald's.
So, yeah, I don't know. It was just banter.
I guess.
I read it as banter as opposed to, like, bad dialogue.
I guess so. I don't know. I just felt like it would have been funnier if, like Michael Douglas was saying, like, the kind of cutting remark that was funny, and then or maybe it wouldn't have been. I don't know. It wasn't really funny anyway, so I don't really know what I'm trying to like help the movie. I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I feel like I guess what I was getting at is like the Japanese cultural elements here, including the Yakuza, especially I suppose when you kind of factor in Sato. Sato is it's the kind of one of the key points of the fucking movie where the old mob boss is like, you guys came in the Black Rain scene where he's like talking about after the bombing, and he's like, you motherfuckers came in here and destroyed our fucking culture, and you created idiots like Sato, and now look at this fucking knucklehead coming in here and just destroying our culture, and you're just as bad, you dickhead. Like, the Japanese elements here of honor and history are the serious part of the movie. They are the Blade Runner-y, serious, quiet parts, and then the non-serious, loud parts are the brash Americans, and like, I kind of feel like it's meant to show just how that brash America first bullshit, overshadows the culture and destroys the culture of the Japanese. And, you could even make the argument that it's an intentional part of the movie structure where like they want there to be brash American bullshit so that it showcases the difference and contrasts between it and the Japanese stuff. So you could actually find some pretty deep structure here if you want to.
It's all over the place, isn't it? The Harley beats the Gixxer at the beginning. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
When is a Harley ever going to beat a fucking, Japanese racing bike?
Yeah,
never.
In any kind of like, in a straight line or anything like it. It's never going to happen. Harleys are nice bikes, but they're not fast. But then there's the whole like, Sugai goes on that whole thing about, dropping the bomb and them going underground and the Black Rain and it's where the title of the movie comes from. So
yeah.
I mean, look, I dig what you're saying, and you're right. The Japanese culture is the showcase, right? I think like the whole premise bit, of these two clowns like taking the guy back to Japan, like that got me off on the wrong foot. Clearly. And I was unable to appreciate all of these things that you're bringing up afterward.
Yeah.
Like, I totally dig where you're coming from. And you're right. I think that it's part the premise of them taking him back and part that between the way the story was written and some of the dialogue, there's just this sort of buffoony kind of quality. Like, I'm all about the brash American bit, but it went to like Buffoon Town too many times, and I think it ruined sections like that where it had an opportunity to really be like a 10-ton hammer, like that speech in particular,
Yeah. I think I'm gonna like I think like I'm risking getting to like, we'll fucking stay out, but I've lived outside of the States now in a few different countries long enough to know that like from my perspective there's a large amount of buffoonery as well as the brashness, like we are generally perceived as brash asshole buffoons a lot of the time. So like, I don't know, like I don't like that about us. I don't like that that's how we're perceived as a culture. I mean, we're obviously if not the dominant culture when you consider things like Hollywood's influence, etc. But like, it kind of sucks to realize that people think you're a bit of an asshat and a buffoon when you're out and about. But at the same time, it's because culturally, there's jealousy there, I think, because of the dominance of the culture via Hollywood and, the internet, et cetera, et cetera. So, like,
sure.
I kind of feel like it's the point in a way, even though this was made in the 80s, but I don't know.
Yeah, like almost kind of somewhat predicting the future a little bit, but relevant then in talking about in that sense is relevant then as it is now almost. You know what I mean? From the point of view you're coming at it from.
And the part that was most relevant then was the whole, like, Japanese are taking over Japanese electronics and all that stuff. Like, at the time, everybody was freaking out about them being a huge rising power, and that has not played out the way that they thought it was going to in the 80s. But I did enjoy some of the, like, you Americans think you're the shit, but, like, we're taking over here. We're smarter, better, make better stuff, blah, 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 blah. So it played into that kind of 80s-ish, fear of Japan stuff.
Yes.
Kate Capshaw, anyways.
Anyway, Kate Capshaw.
Did you see this was supposed to be Beverly Hills Cop?
That was like one of the only nuggets I had. You said before, you don't know if I read anything about this. I started to as we were firing up, and I didn't have any time to read anything else about it. That was the one thing that I saw. I was like, oh, that's a good nugget.
Because that's like the definition of buffoonery. Like if this was an Axel Foley movie, like it would have just been Joketown.
Yeah, it would have, and I don't know what would have been better is taking the needle over to that point or making it even more serious. I think that's really what I'm struggling with here with this film.
Where do you think it was in the spectrum of like too funny, not funny enough, too serious, not serious enough, Benny?
I think about it the same way I think about like fucking Lethal Weapon. You know,
Yeah.
like we wouldn't be having this conversation about Lethal Weapon. We'd be having a different conversation.
Yeah.
So I just, I don't really have a lot of commentary on the seriousness or the silliness of it.
Yeah. I kind of agree. Like, I kind of feel like it strikes the right tone.
It's an 80s fish out of water fucking, cop flick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a lot of commentary in there about, Japanese versus American culture and, the war and, what happened there. But it's also like sort of in the background of the film, I guess.
Yeah. It's like additional layers on top of Fish Out of Water cop movie. Yeah. I'm totally on that motorcycle. I'm on that Harley Davidson that goes really fast with you.
That being said, it's serious as a heart attack for sure. But, the overlay of the film or the 90% of it, I would say is, schlocky 80s cop movie.
Yeah, man. Michael Douglas quaffs running down the street, shooting things with slippery shoes on.
Yeah, giant shootouts in public and,
I don't know how to eat with chopsticks.
chases and...
It's a cutesy scene. I totally could have seen Bruno in this movie.
Yeah, Benny, I get what you're saying. And I mean, I already said it. It's to me, it's like, the concept is super cool of like the guy doing this like super villain kind of thing with like, I'm going to get these plates and I'm going to make money and I'm going to like just fuck with the American economy in some kind of crazy, like, Lex Luthorian revenge scheme. Like, I don't know. I guess for some reason that plus buddy cop movie just wasn't working for me. I don't know. I guess that's it. Because I see what you guys are saying for sure.
Yeah.
We don't have to belabor that point anymore.
No, I think that's...
I think we nailed it.
We've said it 6 different ways. I get it. I get why you didn't like it.
Hey, guys. Look at us, huh? Look at us.
What are we doing? How did we get here?
Yeah.
Well, let's touch on the cast a little bit then, man. I'm kind of on board with Michael Douglas here. I kind of feel like it's a little bit outside of his square.
Yeah.
It seemed like he kind of made the movie. Like I thought I saw like an early production credit from him, like executive producer or something. And I am totally making this up, but like I could see him just being like, I need to be in a cop movie. I need like an action role and like just jumping on board this thing. But the fact that it was a Ridley Scott movie, like, I guess, I don't know. It's pretty cool.
You did see that because I saw that too. I was like, a Michael Douglas production. I was like, what?
Because you could see somebody like him being like, I need an action movie and just like helping get it off the ground or whatever. But I'd obviously connect him with Wall Street. I mean, what else was he known for at the time? Because it wasn't until later there was like Basic Instinct and stuff.
He was known for another wonderful action comedy movie, Romancing the Stone.
Oh, yeah.
Which I saw in the theater, and I was just so into that movie. I thought it was so damn cool. Little Indiana Jones, little treasure hunt, little Goonies. Like, it was great.
Yeah. Little Mule.
I guess he was a cop in a TV show in the 70s, which I had no idea about.
What?
Yeah, Streets of San Francisco.
Oh, yes. Yes. I've read that before. I've never seen the show.
I'd be kind of curious to check it out just in the sense of like, I'm curious if it's Hard Boiled Detective or Miami Vice fucking swab or I don't know what,
It's probably 70s mullets and
yeah,
mustaches.
I'm on board with mullets and mustaches, dude.
So am I, dude. There was only like one mustache in this whole movie. It was like one of the Japanese guys in the end scene before everything got shot to shit.
This is another highlight for you. Was a sweet stash.
Another highlight for me: the lack of mustaches. God damn it!
And you weren't digging Andy Garcia because Terry Benedict is like the best. I love Terry Benedict.
I love Terry Benedict too, man. Are you kidding me? He's great. I liked Andy Garcia. Just there's a couple things like the karaoke scene, and then like his like the whole translation nonsense. Like I don't know, I didn't find that very funny. So. Yeah, but beyond that, I mean, like...
He looked like he was like 10.
Garcia. He did.
He was so young, dude.
He was so young, man. 89? I don't even know how old he would have been.
You gonna eject and do some math?
I'm definitely not going to eject to find out.
All I can say is I totally fell for the karaoke scene.
Yeah, me too. I love that.
I was like, when he died, I was like, Charlie, no.
Yeah. It was a great contrast against the death scene because it just coincidentally I ended up watching this in 2 sittings and watched the karaoke scene, and then like they're walking down that big open hallway kind of fucking around, and I paused it there, and then the next day came back and played it, and it was like, get your fucking head cut off, and it was like, wow, like it was a bit of a whiplash of a scene of the 2 scenes against each other, and I liked that. I thought it was cool. Is that what you mean, Benny? That it was like that one scene, like obviously on its own, the karaoke scene's cool and enjoyable, but then it playing against the death scene. Is that what you were kind of getting at a little bit?
Yeah, sure. The that whiplash change.
I liked the like shaking the fence thing. Kev was all grumpy about it, but I kind of thought it was cool that he was like listening to the sounds and trying to find Andy Garcia, and then ends up stuck on the other side of a fence. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just that, like, I get what he's saying, but, like, that's so, I mean, I've seen that, and I feel like that happens once in every 80s cop movie,
No doubt.
Like, somebody's stuck on the other side of a fence. Or,
yeah. Every 80s cop movie has a fence and a metal foundry.
And then Lucas went and decided to make that a major part of The Phantom Menace.
We have a Star Wars death, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, dude, every 80s movie has either the high-five-y walking through an airport ending or freeze frame. It has a death on the other side of a fence and a giant metal foundry of some type. So this gets all of those boxes.
Yes, definitely a steamy factory.
A giant, poorly lit factory full of melted metal.
With lots of, molten metal and catwalks.
Yeah, on the catwalk. I shake my little tush on the catwalk. Dude, I really enjoyed that foundry scene, even though it was the tropiest of tropes.
It was super tropey, but yeah, it's like it's such a regular occurrence that it's kind of like a comfort food moment. Like
it kind of is now, yeah. Especially coming off of RoboCop, foundry at the end of that. There's a foundry in fucking everything these days.
Yeah, no toxic waste, but
yeah. That fucking toxic waste scene. God, I love that.
Help me.
I'll drop a little nugget on that where evidently Paul Verhoeven was attached to direct this as his follow-up to RoboCop, but he dropped out to make Total Recall.
Wow.
What a good choice on his part.
Excellent choice, yeah. I kind of like that, though. I kind of like that we coincidentally did RoboCop, and now we're doing this, and it would have actually, it ties in with the history of the movie. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that is pretty neat.
Kate Capshaw, everybody.
So let's talk about Kate Capshaw.
Indy! I was so in love with Kate Capshaw in Temple of Doom.
Oh my God, who wasn't?
I'm going to be controversial here and say that I think Temple of Doom is one of my favorite Indiana Joneses. Maybe it's just because I was at the right age when it came out. And everyone thinks it's the worst Indiana Jones. Well, other than Crystal Skull or whatever that fucking heaping pile of shit was. But
wow,
in the original Indiana Jones movies, I really like those. That one, I think that's a good one. Is that controversial? Do you think that's?
It's. What do you think, Ben?
I don't think it's controversial at all. It's my favorite.
Yeah, sweet.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think I see why people think it's the worst one, and
it's the cheese stickiest one, but I love it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the first one and the third one have Nazis. Like, everybody loves, like, you know.
Everybody loves. I mean, if there's one thing,
Everybody loves Nazis.
everybody loves.
Everybody
Nazis.
loves fighting super Nazis. I think we Chad, you went on a nice tirade about that.
Space Nazis?
Whatever, damn. In the Justice League episode. Space Nazis. Exactly.
Space Hitler. Space Hitler.
Yeah, it was Space Hitler. So, like, the reason why the second movie is considered lamer is because of that. It doesn't have any space Nazis.
Dude, it's
in
got
and
fucking Om Nom Shivai guy. Like, come on.
I'm actually trying to defend you. Okay?
I know.
Sit tight. No. I know it's got Om Nam Shiva. Not only does it have Om Nam Shiva, it's got the sick ass mine car roller coaster mayhem thing that is just fucking totally bananas awesome.
And
it has Data from Goonies in it. It's like, and Kate Capshaw.
The rope bridge shitty CG alligators eat up all the bald guys. Like, fucking, it's a good movie, dude.
Yeah, I know. And the Stones were super cool,
dude.
Man. And
it even had a good Nintendo game, for fuck's sake.
But we're not talking about
Kate Capshaw, everybody. Kate Capshaw.
Can't we just do a digression?
We could do a little digression. So I loved her from that, and as you said earlier, Benny, I was also delighted when I saw her in this, even though she had a very small part. I do think if they had gone full love story with her, it wouldn't have worked, though.
It would have just tanked this whole movie, like down into like beyond 50 feet of crap. Yes,
it would have totally blown it up.
Yeah, it was definitely good that they kept it subtle.
And they kept the end kiss to just one kiss. And okay, now you can imagine the possibility of more, maybe.
Yeah.
Not, hey, let's go out on a date and move back to America. And then, like, you know, we'll do stuff.
Yeah.
You can meet my kids and my ex-wife.
Won't that ruin this little fantasy for you? You can meet my kids.
I can take you down to the boardwalk on my Hurley.
Hey, you want to go to some street races on Sunday morning with me? Right? All right, so do we talk about Kate Capshaw?
Kate Capshaw, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kate Capshaw.
The starting center for the Detroit Red Wings. Kate Capshaw.
Dude, this is getting perilously close to...
Let's get ready.
That's even better, Ben. That's what that made me think of. Like,
in the red corner,
weighing in at 110 pounds, soaking wet,
Killer Kate Capshaw. It's a double elimination championship.
In this corner, weighing 260 pounds, the Iron Sheik. And in this corner, weighing 125, Kate Capshaw. And then you go to a Detroit Red Wings game a week later, and you're like with your buddy, and you're like, you'll never believe what happened last week. I went to the bloody wrestling match. It was the Iron Sheik versus Kate Capshaw. Right as you finish saying that, the announcer comes on and says, and the starting center for the Detroit Red Wings, Kate Capshaw.
The Red Wings. Of course.
It's definitely Red
I don't know why I chose the Red Wings, but I chose the Red
No, it works. I don't know why, but it does.
Wow, talk about that was super quantum weirdness.
Yeah, man.
Super quantum weirdness. This match is a double elimination championship. What is it?
Double elimination tournament.
Double elimination tournament.
Tournament. Yes, that's what I'm trying to think of.
That's right, folks. It's a double elimination tournament. You have to beat Kate Capshaw twice in order to win. The final round, Bull Hurley versus Kate Capshaw.
Are you going to milk this fucking thing until it's dry, huh?
I'm not milking. It just keeps coming in my brain.
I don't know if I can picture Kate doing the
turning her hat backwards,
hat switch flip thing. Yeah.
I was just trying to think of a way to incorporate that in with Lincoln Hawk.
I want Kate Capshaw in like a ripped off denim vest, turn her hat backwards. Yeah, no doubt.
There you go. Or I just can't. This is just what happened in my brain. You get Stallone sitting there doing the interview by the truck. And he's like, I don't know, I just take my hat and I flip it around backwards like this, and then I turn into Kate Capshaw.
I was kind of going another direction with that, where Kate Capshaw plays the kid, and like Stallone's yelling at her to fucking arm wrestle the ugly kid in the arcade. You know? She goes outside and cries afterwards. But I don't know. I kind of like that Kate Capshaw is Lincoln Hawk's final form, though.
I like that, right? Like he transforms, kind of like Shazam, but like it's the hat instead of the words. He flips the hat, and it's like lightning comes down, and he turns into Kate Capshaw. And Robert Loggia comes in and just throws his arms up, and he's like, "Whatever, you keep the kid." Right?
Holy shit.
God.
Oh my God, my fucking stomach hurts. Holy shit.
This is like the ultimate cul-de-sac.
This might be the ultimate cul-de-sac.
Kate Capshaw has now elevated herself to a similar level as Bruce Greenwood, I think.
I love how we started off and it was like, she has too small a part and I hate this movie. And then we ended up here.
Very easily see the caption for the episode being not enough Kate Capshaw.
Yeah. Black Rain, a Kate Capshaw film.
Kate Capshaw.
I really want to watch the second Indiana Jones movie.
It's good.
Throw it on the Blu-ray when I go to bed. Yep, I got one in my room.
Kate Capshaw, Kim Cattrall, and Markie Post walk into a bar.
Oh, nice one. 3 80s bombshells, man. All right, so where are we going next? Now that we've completely covered Kate Capshaw, finally.
I don't know. This is like the worst timed subject change, but in the cast space.
But you're going to do it anyway.
I'm going to do it anyways because I don't know. Why not? Sato, the dude that played Sato, Yusaku Matsuda, evidently was like a really well-known actor, and he died of bladder cancer like 6 months after this movie came out. Like he was dying of bladder cancer at the time, which is so crazy.
I read 7 weeks after this was done.
Well, there you go. Like, it's fucking bananas, man.
Really bananas, man. And another sort of proto nugget there was that him and the guy that played Masimoto, they usually the actor that played Sato is playing like these hero cop types in all these other Japanese productions that he's done, and the Masimoto guy's always playing these, you know, gangster guys and these Yakuza guys. So it was like a kind of
flipped it.
Reversal.
I like that.
Pretty neat, but pretty sad that the guy died that shortly after the filming.
It's crazy.
The movie was actually dedicated to him, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's wild. Yeah. So
even though you hate it,
even though I hated it, yep.
Even though it was cool, the movie fucking sucked, but it was cool.
Yeah, movie fucking sucked.
The growling guy that you hated so much. By the way, like, this is a total like diversion from my own point, but the Black Rain scene, did the dude do his own English or was it dubbed? Because I thought it seemed like he was dubbed over.
There was a lot of weird ADR in this movie, or seeming ADR.
Maybe it was just ADR, the same guy.
You know what? I will say this, that the actor that played Sato, I know for sure, because I just read this right before we turned the lights on here in the Valverde bunker. He is similar to, and this is actually a pretty cool nugget. I know you guys are familiar with Ken Watanabe. Obviously, he played
Admiral Pike in Star Trek.
Yep. Yep. And he also played Kate Capshaw in the second Indiana Jones movie, which you did not know.
He didn't play Kate Capshaw's character, Willie. He played Kate Capshaw.
He played Kate Capshaw as Willie. That's how good these Japanese actors are. So he's
the dude playing the dude, pretending to be another dude.
There you go.
Anyway, Ken Watanabe did the same thing for Inception and Batman Begins. He doesn't speak English. And when I heard this, I was just blown away by that. What they do, and Sato, the actor that played Sato, did the same thing. They don't, all of the parts that he had in English, they have a coach that teaches them how to say the words and the right inflection and the right intonation, but they don't understand the mechanics of the language or how it works at all. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's crazy, man.
Right? Well, especially for Ken Watanabe, because he has larger parts, like in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
In Inception, I mean, Sato didn't have a lot of English-speaking parts in this, just a few.
I believe, and this could be a post-show death, I believe Javier Bardem had that exact same situation in No Country. I don't think he actually spoke English at that time.
Really?
I think so. If it wasn't that movie, it was around that time. But anyways, yeah, it's such a fascinating thing.
It is.
I don't know. Because those guys did a great job. Other than the weird ADR of the Black Rain English monologue, I thought they did a good job.
One of the first lines in the movie sounded like weird ADR to me too. When he rolls up to the biker meet right underneath the bridge, and that guy that he ends up racing, the first thing he says is, "Don't you got nothing better to do on a Sunday morning?" I mean, he swear to God, he sounded exactly like Travolta, exactly like John Travolta. And I was like, that's got to be ADR. Either that or the guy's like purposely doing that, so I don't know.
Travolta did the ADR? Was that what you're
We got
positing
Travolta
here?
to do the ADR, yeah.
Yeah.
Starring Michael Douglas with ADR by John Travolta and Kate Capshaw.
Well, anyways, 10 minutes ago, I wanted to say the old dude in the Black Rain scene is the same actor that played Ogami Ito in Lone Wolf and Cub, the old movies that all of the Wu-Tang albums clipped from. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Whoa, dude. That is very cool.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the movies. As I've said many a time, I enjoy the manga, but it was cool. Probably should say that for Nuggets. We've kind of been talking a lot about Nuggets, so maybe we're already in Nuggets.
Yeah, we're already in Nuggets.
We're in Nuggets.
Yeah, we're in Nuggets. It's fine.
That is Temisaburo Wakayama, by the way.
Dude, nice pronunciation.
Played Tsugai and the dude from Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah. Have you seen those? I've never seen those.
No. I have not.
I have not.
I've heard a lot of clips from them from all the Wu-Tang albums, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a bunch of Shaw Brothers movies like when I was a kid, and I've watched plenty of Hong Kong movies, like some Jet Li movies and, some of the other really good contemporary stuff like House of Flying Daggers and Hero and stuff, but I've never checked out any of that.
Different genre, I guess, the more Japanesey stuff.
Yeah, I guess, but yeah, it is.
Any other Nuggets?
I don't really have any Nuggets. I think
You just dropped a bunch. I had two, the Verhoeven one and the Beverly Hills Cop one, so that's me for Nugs.
I have one.
Oh, yes, Benny.
yeah. Ooh, nice. Go.
So the guy we were just talking about, Tsugai's house, is the same place that they filmed. It was the same as Deckard's apartment in Blade Runner. The same house, the same place.
Sick. That's awesome.
That is sweet.
I forget what it's called, but
So what, the outside of the building or?
no, the inside.
Oh, okay. Oh, now I need to go look at that. Not ejecting. I'll do it after. That's sick.
Where he's giving his whole, you can kind of see it's got that like crazy, like, the walls are like sculpted,
Yeah, right. The Black Rain scene? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the Black Rain scene.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm totally going to check that
Fireplace
out.
and all that. That's Deckard's apartment.
I love it. I love that this is a Ridley Scott movie. I know that you hate that this is a Ridley Scott movie, but I think that's cool. And by you, I mean Kev.
I don't hate that it's a Ridley Scott movie. I just was like, I can't believe this is a Ridley Scott movie because I don't feel like it's up to that same kind of level, and like doing like a kind of a buddy cop-ish, sort of funny movie isn't really his bag.
I guess. I mean, he did fucking G.I. Jane, bro. He doesn't do all masterpieces.
G.I. Jane's not that bad.
We did Prometheus, bro. Not all of his movies are masterpieces.
That's true. You're right.
Prometheus fucking sucks.
Did he have a hand in writing this one, or did they just pull him on to direct it? I was under the impression they just pulled him on to direct it.
That's a good question. I don't know. Craig Balatin and Warren Lewis is I have an IMDb open.
I do have one other nugget that I just found. That's so cool I can't pass it off.
That I just ejected to find.
No, I was already looking something up on IMDb, and I found that our buddy who was in Big Trouble in Little China, and he played a henchman in Die Hard, Al Leung.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
In this movie as one of the Yakuza assassins, and that just kicks ass.
Dude, I saw him, and I immediately wanted to bring it up on the show. I'm so glad that we didn't miss that. Yep, he's like a 2-second scene in the final shootout. I guess that final shootout, they got kicked out of Japan because his visa ran out, and the final shootout scene was all filmed in Napa because they couldn't film in Japan anymore.
I couldn't believe that, except that when they rolled up to a vineyard in the first place, I was like, huh?
I just took it as kind of, I don't know. I suppose I just I was so in the Japanese headspace that I didn't put 2 and 2 together. It was a vineyard, even though it was very obvious. And either you're both looking something up or I'm dead.
Sorry, I am. I'm on one of these like freaking things where I'm like certain that this guy is from this movie, and now I'm looking it up, and it's just like such a worthless waste of time, but I can't stop.
Can't stop. IMDb.
Can't stop.
Well, I don't have any more nuggets, so
same.
If we're actually doing nuggets right now, then
let me know if you find any, Kev.
My last one.
Let me see what I can. Let's see. 20 facts.
Okay, I found it, and this is a great.
Capshaw, everybody.
I found it, and this is a great nugget. Okay, I don't know if you noticed.
Capshaw.
Well, there's perhaps another tie-in similar to that, Ben, that might be funny here in a second. So I was watching the movie, finishing the movie tonight, and I was looking at the henchman in the final shootout, and there was a rather large Japanese fellow with short cropped hair. And I was like, that guy looks like either Odd Job from the Bond movies, but he'd probably be too old, or Random Task from the Austin Powers movies, or he's Sub-Zero from Running Man.
No way.
And it was, in fact, Sub-Zero.
Oh, man, that's good. That's so worth the ejection death that you just had.
So worth the ejection death, man. So that guy's name is Professor Toru Tanaka, in case anybody forgot when we brought that up in the Running Man episode. But that guy was one of the henchmen at the end. And I think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
And then I thought when Benny said that Kate Capshaw thing, how funny would it be? You know where I'm going with this, Ben. You know, it's like Richards and Weiss and Laughlin, they all get jumped into the game zone. First stalker, Kate Capshaw! So, in fact, we did not milk it dry. There's still a couple drops
There's
left.
still a few drops left because you might know this, but I didn't know this. And a Kate Capshaw nugget is that she is married to Steven Spielberg. Did you know that?
I did.
I didn't know that. She's got 5 kids with the fucking guy. That's amazing.
I could not believe it when I first found that out. I was like, what? But then it makes sense because like he did all the indie movies. You know?
Yeah. Kate Capshaw, everybody.
You know, Kate Capshaw was on an episode of none other than Magnum P.I.
Whoa. She was?
No, I'm just fucking kidding.
That's a death right there. That's a murder. I love it.
It's believable, though, isn't it?
It is. I don't think that's a death.
You die. You bought it, man. That's a gullible death.
Oh, because I bought it.
Yeah.
Yes. That is definitely I'm dead, yes.
We're on deaths, so what do you got for deaths there, bud?
The deaths are Benny had a Star Wars death, and I ejected on Sub-Zero, which I was lambasted for, and then it turned out to be an awesome nugget, which was so worth it. And then I died on the believing Ben's Kate Capshaw was on Magnum. I mean, that's totally plausible.
I am actually dying here where I didn't pay attention to you at all and was looking at Kate Capshaw's IMDb. And I want to add in that she was in Space Camp, which is a great movie that has like most of the cast of all the movies we've been talking about recently.
It's true.
Leah Thompson.
Yep, I've seen that too.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, I think, you know what? Like, it's so funny. All the times that you've ragged on me for ejecting from my own show
Yep.
to look some bullshit up on the internet, and then you ask me to reread the deaths, and then you immediately tune the fuck out to look at Kate Capshaw's fucking IMDb.
And
Oh
read
my God,
Space
dude.
Camp.
And to read about Space Camp of all movies.
The classic 80s romp, Space Camp.
That classic rock.
The super plausible movie where a bunch of kids get into a space shuttle and they simulate a launch, but it actually launches. Stupidest fucking thing ever.
Talk about plausible stupidity. Holy shit.
You know, I'm willing to totally show my nerd card here, but the only time that I've ever watched Space Camp.
Bro, I think we blew that out of the water earlier.
Oh, dude, no, this is another layer of nerd.
Okay, go.
The only time in my life that I've ever watched Space Camp was in an IMAX movie theater at Space Camp.
Holy shit, dude. You did not go to Space Camp.
I did go to Space Camp.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm totally serious. Yeah.
For the first time in this show, I'm at a loss for words.
I've been wondering when this would come up because, you know, it's inevitable. But yeah, I did go to Space Camp. It was pretty fucking cool.
Good for you, because I always wanted to go to fucking Space Camp.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome. They had this really cool thing. Like, you could go to more than 1 year. So like the first year you went, it was Space Camp.
Enough bragging, okay?
I'm not bragging. I wish I went more than once, because there's like Space Academy, and then there was this other thing that was like I think you could actually like legit get some astronaut cred by doing it. And they had a
You could.
They had a thing in the middle of the facility that was a gigantic water tank where you would actually get suited up and go under and like work on an underwater satellite. And it was the fucking coolest thing in the world. I never did it, obviously, but like the older kids that went a bunch of times did it. It was the fucking coolest thing in the world. Anyways, I'm not bragging.
Well, good for you, pal.
It's pretty nerdy. Come on, I think it's more nerdy than braggy.
Let's have a round of applause.
Why don't you just rub it in his face, Chad?
Sorry.
That's awesome, dude. I'm glad you got to go to Space Camp. That's super cool.
It is cool.
Dick.
I happened to glance over and find two very curious little nuggies.
While I was bragging about
I
Space
thought
Camp,
we were already in
there's some
deaths.
pretty serious
We are in
fucking
deaths.
ejections
I
going
mean,
on.
this in and of itself is a death. It's a ejection, 4 nuggets in the deaths section. But Jackie Chan was originally considered for Sato, and he turned it down. Also,
Good call.
Harrison Ford and Rutger Hauer were also considered for the role of Conklin.
Dude, Rutger Hauer would be sick.
Yeah, right?
Like, I
That would've been a sick
love
movie.
Harry and all that stuff and the Hendersons, but fucking Rutger Hauer. I mean, great.
Totally.
Harrison
Yeah.
Ford had a bunch of really good movies. Rutger Hauer, I don't know, man. I don't recall him in a lot of stuff. Let's go to Rutger Hauer cul-de-sac.
Let's not.
Let's instead do some more Rutger Hauer films
That is a great idea.
in the future.
Did you know that Rutger Hauer was played by Kate Capshaw?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Kate Capshaw.
Ooh, 2011, Hobo with a Shotgun. Rutger Hauer plays the hobo.
He does.
All right, that's the show.
That's it. All right, so ratings. Somebody else go first.
Yeah, I'll go. I just got to find it. Unlike Kev, I enjoyed this movie. In the pantheon of all movies ever, it actually pips Escape from New York for me. Just.
Wow.
I think my headspace at the time was I liked the seriousness of the Black Rain stuff and the kind of 80s Japan scenery cinematography stuff. Like, Escape from New York's good and funny and fun, but it was a lot schlockier. So, yeah, it's a 5.5. I enjoyed it. It gets beaten by Goodfellas, and I think that's rightfully so.
Absolutely. I'm going to give this movie a 6. I'll just say this. It was an unenjoyable experience. I'm not going to say the movie was as terrible as my tears of hatred from the beginning, because I feel like you guys pointed out some good things that kind of changed my mind a little bit. I still didn't enjoy it. It was kind of like, I wish it would have just been one thing or the other. And it wasn't, but, you know, it had some redeeming qualities for sure. The Japanese stuff, the rain, you know, there's some cool sort of noirish elements to it. And Michael Douglas's mullet, of course, which we didn't even talk about.
Yes.
So
I did call him a schlubby New York version of Riggs from.
You did, which is
sort of implied the mullet, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. It was super accurate. You're right, because his mullet was as banging as Riggs was. So there you go, 6.
I dig it.
Right on. If you've just watched like the Lethal Weapon movies, perhaps, and you're looking for some other kind of 80s thriller cop flick to watch, then this might be your Huckleberry.
Nice.
I like what you did there.
I can see your point of view, Kev, for sure. If I wasn't in the mood for this, I probably would have been like, I wouldn't have hated it, but I would have been like, meh, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, for whatever reason on this viewing, I was, I don't know, ready for it, I guess, you know? Yeah. So I'm going to give it a 7.5. It's worth a watch.
There you go. I would just like to put an addendum onto my rating that I would not discourage anybody from watching it. You know, it's definitely something that people should watch.
Yeah, I was surprised I hadn't seen it, but I agree.
I had always seen it and heard of it. I just had never bothered to watch it back then, and consequently. So, at any rate, there you have it, folks. So, Algo Chad, what are we doing next week?
Next week, we're doing the well-known sequel to Robocop, Police Academy.
Ooh, perfect. There you have it, folks. Police Academy. Again, another 80s classic.
I haven't seen that in forever.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode of Black Rain, despite my hatred. And please join us next week for Police Academy. And go by, sorry, that's not the same thing. And go be happy and have a good day. So long.
Special shout out to Boulevard Chimichangas for recommending this movie, and laters.
Yes.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We use the handle @EBD Podcast just about everywhere, so join in on the conversation. You can find the show notes for this episode in your podcast app, choice, or at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/109. 109.
Yeah, Ed 109.
There you go. /Ed 109. If you'd like to support the show, folks, there's a number of great ways you can do that. Firstly, you can tell a friend or many friends. That is very, very helpful to us. You can also write us a review. That is very helpful as well. And you can now support us on Patreon. That's right, we have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/EBD Podcast. So if you feel like helping us out, throw us a buck or two. As always, folks, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Black Rain, and we will see you next week. So long, folks.
Beady, beady, beady.
Hey, Capshaw!